Hey, what's going on, ladies and gents? Pimp here, back at you once again. Got another build guide for you guys, and today we're going to be looking at the Human Engineer, or as I like to call it, the Frostbite engine. Get it? Because this game runs Sunday. Moving on. Now our skills are Cryo Beam, Assault Turret, Overload, Offensive Tech, and Support System. Now for this particular build, we're going to be focusing on priming the enemies with our Cryo Beam and detonating them with Overload. Now, I'm going to leave Assault Turret at rank 1 for this build because I'm simply not a fan of it. It's very inconsistent. Sometimes it'll do a lot, you know, prime enemies and whatnot, and sometimes it won't do jack shit. So, you know, especially off host, it's very inconsistent. So that's why I'm going to leave it at rank 1 for this build. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the first skill we're going to max out, and that's the Cryo Beam. Now, this is very similar to the Flamethrower in that you have to hold the power button to keep using it. However, the major difference is this has a shit ton more range compared to the Flamethrower. For our first evolution at rank 4, we have either damage or recharge speed. Now, don't get me wrong, having extra damage is nice, but the base damage for Cryo Beam isn't that impressive, and since I'm going to mainly use this power to prime enemies, I want to be able to spam it a little bit more often, so that's why I went with recharge speed instead of damage. Now, for rank 5, oh boy, this one's going to be controversial, because I know a lot of you are going to like Brittle Freeze, and so do I. I love Brittle Freeze. It weakens armor by 65%. It is an incredible fucking choice. However, for this particular build, I went with Radius because I want to play this one as a kind of a crowd control, and I want to freeze as many mooks as I can, and that's why I went with Radius. It'll also freeze enemy that is hiding behind cover, so Radius is pretty good if you want a crowd control. However, if you want a boss killer, I would highly recommend Brittle Freeze instead. And finally at rank 6, we have either Cryo Trap or Snap Freeze. Now, Cryo Trap is, trust me, you don't want Cryo Trap. Now, Snap Freeze instead, well, every time you freeze an enemy and you shatter them with another power, like say Overload, you will increase your frozen damage by 200%, Shatter Force by 100%, and the Radius by 150%. And whenever you're doing a hack or a upload, this will come in handy, trust me. So go with Snap Freeze instead. And I'm going to leave Assault Turret at rank 1 because, like I said, I'm not a fan of it. It's not bad, it's just I'm not a fan of it. Now, the next power we're going to max out is Overload. This will be our primary detonator. However, the multiplayer version of Overload is slightly different than the single player. And that is, the single player version, enemies that are chained by Overload can be primed and detonated. Whereas in the multiplayer, only the first enemy hit by Overload can be primed or detonated. So, keep that in mind. Now, for our first evolution at rank 4, we have either damage or recharge speed. Now, my thinking here is the exact same as Cryo Beam. Damage isn't that great, so I went with recharge speed instead. That way I can spam this power a little bit more often and get more cryo explosions. Next, at rank 5, we have either Charged Overload or Anti-Shield. Now, if this is the single player version, I would go with Charged Overload, because, you know, the chained enemy can be primed or detonated. Now, since they can't, I'm going to go with Anti-Shield instead. Getting extra 60% more damage to shield is a really nice quality of life thing, especially since a lot of the enemy in this game has shields, so I went with anti-shields instead of Charge Overload. And finally at rank 6, we have either Maximum Charge or EMP. Now, since I didn't go with Charge Overload at rank 5, having Maximum Charge is kind of a waste, in my opinion, so I went with EMP instead to further increase our damage against shields and synthetic enemies. So, yeah. The next skill tree we're going to max out is Offensive Tech. In our first evolution at rank 4, we have either Power Enhancement or Combo Detonation. Now, like I said before, Cryo Beam and Overload doesn't have good base damage, so having extra damage isn't really that useful. Instead, go with Combo Detonation. That way we have 50% more combo damage and a 30% wider combo radius. This way, we can freeze all the things. Next, at rank 5, we have either Anti-Armor or Anti-Shield. Now, since I didn't go with Anti-Armor on my previous power choices, I'm going to go with Anti-Shield to further increase our damage against shields. That way we can pretty much handle anything the games throw at us that has shields. And finally at rank 6, we have either Elemental Tech or Weapon Mass Reduction. This one's a little bit tough. They're both good choices. However, I went with Weapon Mass Reduction instead of Elemental Tech because I like to run Assault Rifles with this build. And Assault Rifle really does need all the help it can get. And having more accuracy and stability, in my opinion, is better than the 35% extra damage from elemental effects. And finally, for our last skill tree, we have Support System. And our first evolution at rank 4, we have either Tech Duration or Tech Radius. Now, you don't really need extra duration. If you're having trouble detonating, frozen enemies, then, I mean, I don't know what to say. Go with Tech Radius instead, because this will further increase the Cryo Beam's radius. So, yeah, freeze more enemies. Next, at rank 5, we have either Advanced Construction or Tactical Revive. Once again, Tactical Revive is nice, but having more health and shield, in my opinion, is way better. So, go with Advanced Construction instead. And finally, at rank 6, we have either Shield Reset or Tech Sabotage. Now, this one is kind of a personal preference. I mean, if you're having trouble surviving, go with Shield Reset instead. But if you're not, I would highly recommend Tech Sabotage instead, because any enemy that's affected by your Cryo Beam or Overload, they'll deal 30% less damage to you and your teammate. In my opinion, this is the better choice. And that about wraps it up. Now, as for the consumables, generally I like to run Disruptor rounds and a weapon amp, depending on the weapon you're using. So for this one, I'm gonna run Disruptor round, and since I'm gonna use a assault rifle, I'm gonna run a assault rifle amp. Now, as for the weapons, whenever you're using a ammo mod, you generally want to use a high rate of fire weapon. That way you can prime enemies faster. So for this one, I'm using the X5 Ghost, and I have a Usha as a backup. I don't plan on using it. It's just it's a backup. And then I have the engineering kit to further increase my tech damage. But, like I said in previous build guides, the consumables and gears and weapons, these are all personal preference. You could use whatever you want. So yeah, that about wraps it up for this build guide. Now, as usual, I'm going to kick it over to some gameplay so you guys can actually see this build in action. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to rate, comment, sub. And if you have any suggestions or requests, just leave them in the comments below. And as always, until next time, you guys take care, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
Hold this position, clear on enemy forces. Let's do it.
This is fun fighting time.
Squad member down. Teammate injured.
Need more clips.
3 more to go. All enemies clear. Keep it up.
We were great.
Hostiles en route.
Let's get out of here.
Intel says the cat left genetic surveying devices in your area. Let's find and disable them. Enemy tech shut down. One device down.
Shields?
Nearly through.
Need more clips.
Teammate injured. Squad member down. Squad member down. Enemy tech is deactivated. Objective complete. I'm reading a flatline. Teammate injured.
Lost my shields.
Teammate injured. 3 left. Go get him.
I've got ya.
Well done.
More clips.
All clear for now. Enemies incoming.
Gotta run.
Teammate injured. Squad member down.
They're circled. Lost my shields.
Teammate injured. Teammate injured.
How about we take cover?
Squad member down. Squad member down.
Shields are down.
I'm reading a flatline. Squad member down.
Shields are down.
I'm reading a flatline.
Ooh, a Hydra.
I'm reading a flatline. Enemies headed your way.
Let's get out of here.
I've got ya. No ammo.
Nice job, Apex. Keep it going.
Who's ready for more?
Intel shows key enemy personnel in that area. Don't let them leave.
You got it.
Target eliminated. Squad member down.
Watch your ass.
I'm reading a flatline.
A hydra.
Target down. I'm reading a flatline.
Uh-oh, shields down.
Yep.
Hold on.
Squad member down.
No, you're the...
You got them all.
Watch your ass.
Shuttle incoming. Get to the extraction zone.
Ooh, a Hydra.
Flatline. All targets down, everyone standing. Drinks are on me.